All right, if you've been researching suburbs around Dallas, Texas lately, guys, there's a really good chance that Forney, Texas, it keeps popping up on your radar. And honestly, it all just makes sense, guys. On paper, Forney looks like one of those places where you start thinking like, wait a minute, why isn't everybody moving out here? You've got the brand new neighborhoods going up all over the place, families relocating here from across the country, and homes that, compared to some of the other Dallas suburbs, can make people feel like they just walked into Costco and found the family-sized deal on all the square footage. It's been about a year since our last Forney video, guys. The new HEB is done and people are flocking in there every single day, right? Home Depot just opened up, Costco is opening up next week, and the new hospital is going up as we speak with state-of-the-art everything and AI operating rooms. The highway expansion out here is nearly complete and traffic in and out of Forney will be a thing of the past. This city is set for a rocket ship type of glow up, but here's the part that catches a lot of people off guard. What Forney looks like online and what it actually feels like living here day to day can be two completely different things. Because even though this city has been growing like crazy over the past several years, it still has a lot of that small town East Texas type of personality to it. It's baked right into it. The pace of life just feels a little different, right? The way the city is developing is a little different than most other ones, and sometimes the experience of living here compared to other Dallas suburbs can surprise a lot of people. You see, some families move here and they absolutely love it, while others, they move here and they realize kind of quickly that it's not quite what they expected. And that usually happens when people start experiencing what daily life actually looks like down here. Right, so the interesting thing about Forney is for a long time, it really wasn't on most people's radar when they were looking at places to live around the DFW. When people talked about moving to the suburbs, guys, the conversation was almost always centered around places like Frisco, Plano, McKinney, and some of those northern parts of the metroplex. Meanwhile, Forney was just sitting out kind of doing its own thing on this side of town. But over the last several years, that story has changed in a big way, guys. More and more people began realizing that if you drive about 20 miles east of downtown Dallas, you land in a place where you can still get that suburban lifestyle that a lot of families are looking for today, but without some of all the intensity that comes with the more built-out suburbs around the metroplex. And the prices for homes are about 20 to 30% cheaper for the same exact property on the north side. And for a lot of people, that balance is really just appealing. You've got the newer neighborhoods being built all over the area, homes that tend to offer more space for the money, and the city that feels like it's got room to grow instead of feeling completely maxed out already. A lot of people moving here are at that stage in life where they want a little more breathing room. Maybe they got kids and they want more space for the family, or maybe they want that backyard for their dog, or maybe they're just tired of feeling all packed into the busier parts of the metroplex. Forney gives people that sense of space without feeling like you moved way out into the middle of nowhere, right? You're still close enough to go to the Dallas Mavericks game and record your own Cooper Flag highlights. You can catch a concert if you want to, or you can head in the city for dinner. But when you come home, things still feel quieter, a little more relaxed, and a lot more neighborhood focused. You'll see kids playing in neighborhood parks, families walking around in the evenings, and people actually getting to know their neighbors. It's the kind of environment where the community events still matter, right? The youth sports are a big deal, and the town still feels connected even while it's growing. It's growing quickly, but it hasn't lost that approachability to it. It's down-to-earth vibes over here, and that's what a lot of people are looking for when they start thinking about where they want to build their life. And if any of this has you thinking, yeah, that Forney place might actually be somewhere we can call home, guys, feel free to reach out. Look, if this is your first time to the channel, I'm Mark with the Dallas Relocation Guide, and we help people buy, sell, and relocate right here to the Metroplex. We walk you through the areas, match your lifestyle with your suburb, and really get you honed in throughout the process so you can carve out your little piece of tech. So whether you're still in the early research stage, trying to figure out which suburb might actually fit your lifestyle, or you're already planning a move and just need someone local to help you navigate everything, guys, feel free to reach out. All of our contact info is down in the description below and pinned at the top of the chat. Now, once people decide that Forney may be worth a closer look, guys, the next thing they usually start paying attention to is something that could completely change how the city feels depending on where you are, right? Because one of the things that surprises a lot of people about Forney, Texas is just how different certain parts of the city can feel versus the other. All right, so one thing that people start realizing pretty quickly when they explore Forney is this city isn't one type of suburb, guys. The community that you decide on can completely change how your lifestyle feels, and that's something a lot of people don't realize until they actually start driving around and seeing these neighborhoods in person. Some areas, they feel very polished and amenity-packed, almost like a suburban resort where everything is designed for activity and your social life. while others, they feel more spacious and laid back with bigger stretches of open land and that slower pace of life. And then you've got some of the more newer developments that are being designed with a much more modern focus on outdoor living, trails, and gathering space. For example, one of the most well-known communities in Forney is going to be Devonshire, guys. This is one of those neighborhoods where the lifestyle is very, very intense. You've got multiple pools, you got the ponds, the trails, the dog parks, the basketball courts, the volleyball courts, the playgrounds, and even an amphitheater where the neighborhood hosts events. If you drive through Devonshire in the evening, guys, it's the kind of place where you'll see people out walking the trails, you'll see the kids riding bikes and around the sidewalks, and your neighbors, they'll stop and talk to you for a few minutes before they head inside. It's gonna feel active, social, and very community-oriented. And so another community that's really going to stand out is going to be Gateway Parks, guys. This one has a slightly different type of energy. It's part of a massive development that was designed to feel like a self-contained neighborhood in and of itself, guys. The amenities here are extensive. There's going to be a resort-style pool with beach entry. You get the adults-only side of the pool as well. There's going to be a splash park, event lawns, playgrounds, fitness spaces, and walking trails that weave throughout the entire neighborhood. Gateway Parks tends to attract the type of people who like the idea of living somewhere where there's always a sense of activity happening around them. And then you've got communities like Park Trails, which sits a little bit closer to Lake Ray Hubbard, guys. This one is going to have a more boutique type of feel to it with beautiful luxury homes that are going to exceed your expectations. I mean, Grand Homes is building some amazing properties, and we've already gotten our clients killer deals on some of these showstoppers. You're also going to hear people talk about Heartland, which sits just south of the city center in Forney, but it's still very much a part of the lifestyle conversation for this side of the metroplex, right? Heartland is huge and packed with all the amenities, guys. There's going to be hundreds of acres of parks and trails, a large lake where people go fishing, multiple pools, water slides, you get the sports courts, and a massive amenity center as well. And for a lot of families that are living there, the weekends can easily be spent entirely inside of your community without needing to go very far at all. While we're on that subject, some of the newer communities that are still coming into Forney are also leaning heavily into that lifestyle design piece, right? We could talk about Las Lomas, and this is going to be a good example of that, right? The neighborhood is built around outdoor experiences like fishing ponds, dog parks, you get the trails, all the playgrounds, you get the event lawns, and the resort-style pool areas that everybody's dying to have in the summertime. It's really designed so that people actually spend time outside and around their neighborhoods instead of just driving in and out every single day. And then the newest community that a lot of people have been starting to pay attention to is going to be Meraki, guys. And this is just going to be this large master plan community that's going to be built around the lakes, the parks, and all the open green space. The design there, it feels a little more modern and nature-focused, with scenic trails, gathering spaces, and areas meant for people to slow down and enjoy being outdoors, guys. I mean, my guy Eric is a sales rep over there with Highland Homes. And Highland Homes, they always deliver when we're talking about quality builds, the value, and the size, right? And because you're my client, they're going to offer us a little bit extra as far as incentives goes, right? And then in the same neighborhood, Perry Homes is in that sales community as well, and that's a Dallas staple build. Perry's known for being top-notch when it comes to customer satisfaction, attention to detail, and making your experience one where you can go tell your friends and they come along for the ride as well. My guy Miles over there, he helped us bring in a family from North Carolina, and they decided to build a massive 4,000 square foot home for less than they sold their 3,000 square foot property back home. We were able to get them all the incentives, the flex cash, and the upgraded lot, and the interest rate special that made that a deal that they just could not refuse. And then on top of that, guys, you're going to have several other communities like that, like the Bellagio with the new Crystal Lagoon that's going to bring so much excitement over here to this area. Listen, these lagoon communities are popping up all over the Metroplex, and we have direct access to all the info that can get you into these communities at the right price. And then on the flip side, guys, Polo Ridge and Overland Grove, they both are going to bring their own type of suburban living. They're going to offer you some of those larger home sites. Some lean more into the trails and parks, and others, they focus more on the family-oriented amenities like the pools and the playground. One thing that's actually interesting about Forney is that it's not really a gated community type of suburb like you might see in some of those other parts of Texas, right? The lifestyle here tends to revolve more around open neighborhoods, shared spaces, parks, trails, and community amenities instead of the private gates and the country club exclusivity. I mean, if you want an acre of land, guys, my newest listing over in Forney, it offers just that, right? Open space, neighbors are down the street instead of at an arm's length away, and you can put an RV shed right in the back like you've always wanted to. My seller, he put the extended patio in the backyard so you can watch your kids run 100-yard sprints. At least that's what I would use it for whenever they get a C and out. You're gonna get that open concept modern farmhouse with beautiful finishes and that homely feel for your family. And for a lot of people moving here, that's actually part of all the appeal. The neighborhoods, they tend to feel welcoming, active, and family driven, right? This is where people are outside, the kids are playing, and the neighbors, they act actually get to know one another. And once people start settling into these communities and experiencing that type of lifestyle, that's when they really start to understand what the day-to-day actually looks like here in Forney, Texas. And once people really start to settle into these neighborhoods, that's when it really starts to experience the rhythm that's out here. And the easiest way to describe it is that life here tends to revolve a lot more around home base and the neighborhood itself. Most evenings don't feel rushed or chaotic at all, guys. After dinner, you'll see people out walking in the sidewalks. The kids are going to be riding bikes or scooters around the block, and your neighbors are going to be catching up while the dog gets its nightly walk in. It's the kind of place where you step outside thinking you're just going to make a quick lap around the block, and somehow that quick lap, it turns into a 30-minute neighborhood social tour. And honestly, that's a part of the charm out here. A lot of the communities here were designed with shared spaces like parks, ponds, trails, and playgrounds, so those spots, they naturally become part of the routine. Instead of everyone disappearing into the house like it's some kind of suburban hide-and-seek tournament, people tend to drift towards those spaces. Kids are going to be burning off energy at the playground, someone's casting a line into the fishing pond, and families are hanging out by the pool once the weather decides to warm up. Weekends here, they're going to have that similar type of rhythm, right? They just opened up the brand new H-E-B, which in Texas is the holy grail of anything in any city. People are so obsessed with this grocery store, and when you move into a city that has one, you'll quickly understand why. Look, it's not going to be something that you're going to understand before you get here, but once you do, then you're going to try to figure out how you ever lived without it. And then in a lot of our neighborhoods here, you don't necessarily feel like you have to leave the community just to have something to do, guys. We're talking about morning walks on the trails, the kids' sports practices, hanging out at the pool, and maybe even grilling in the backyard while the kids run around in the yard. It's the kind of Saturday where you look up and realize half the day went by and you never actually left your neighborhood. We also have that main artery in Forney where everyone does the shopping, the errands, and just their everyday life. You're going to have plenty of local shops, restaurant chains, and the new retail developments coming into town. And look, I've partnered with several businesses myself here in the area. Whether you need a good barbershop, a nail salon, a hairdresser, it's all at your fingertips. But what's really exciting is what's about to open up here in the next week, guys. And I'm partnering with a major chain to get you exclusive access into what's going to be upgrading your health and fitness here in this area. Look, when people are relocating and they're choosing where they want to plant their roots, they're not just buying a house, guys. They're buying into a lifestyle. And look, this right here is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. Olympic lifting platforms, a boxing area, ride classes, a hot studio, a hydro massage area, a sauna, and so much more, guys. All gonna be 5 minutes from your front door. You don't have to drive over to Rockwall. You don't have to drive over to Mesquite. It's all right here. Look, this is the type of gym that we've been waiting on for a long time coming. But look, don't take my word for it, guys. I've partnered with the management team, and I want you to hear from them what Crunch has to offer. All right, guys, so I'm here with Ashley at the brand new Crunch Fitness, guys, and she's gonna tell us a little bit about what Crunch has to offer.
I mean, just like you know, Forney's absolutely blowing up right now, and we wanted to be a part of the community.
We're super excited, so tell us about what the different stations are gonna be.
So we're gonna be a 35,000 square foot gym, which is pretty big for Forney. So I love my free weight area. We have dumbbells ranging from 5 all the way to 125. We'll have 10 adjustable or 12 adjustable benches. I'm a free weight girly, so I love my benches. We'll have 4, 1 decline, and then 2 inclines as well.
Okay,
so
nice. Should have enough room for everybody to be able to be on the rack, kind of get their thing going, absolutely.
I will not feel packed in here.
Right.
And plus, I don't have to wait for any. On top of that, we'll have 40 yards of NFL grade turf over here. So we'll have 4 different group fitness areas here. We'll have our ride section. We'll have our HIIT gym for boxing, kickboxing, battle ropes, tires, everything there. And then we'll also have our group fitness room for Zumba, Pilates, yoga, everything.
Okay.
So we're a one-stop shop. So we have 2 different saunas. We have an infrared sauna, Himalayan salt wall.
Okay, guys, Himalayan salt, that's good for the body now.
Detoxification,
Okay.
collagen production. That's gonna be in our rest of our cover area. We'll have an infrared sauna in there. And then we'll have 3 different types of massage beds.
Oh.
So I'd have a cryo lounger,
Okay.
in between hot and cold to work on lactic acid draining from the body.
Nice.
And then we'll have a hydro massage for more of that relaxation side. And then deep tissue.
Wow, okay, absolutely.
Yes. And then our locker rooms are massive. We're gonna have showers. All you need to bring is a towel. We provide everything else for you, even a place to even take some photos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect, guys. So you guys heard it here first. Crunch Fitness in Forney, Texas is blowing everybody else out the water. You're going to want to be here. Not allowed to talk about pricing just yet, but you will be able to go to their website, go there, check them out, and come and see Ashley's and team, and they'll get you right so after you get your workout in.
Marquez Branson, what's going on, young man? Realtor now, top realtor at your brokerage away. I mean, you doing it. You doing it. Everything we learned in the game applies to everyday business. Just like we walked in the locker room. You walk in the meeting room, write down everything, learn it, master it, learn it again, master it, and become the best realtor ever. You set the bar, we set the bar. We play the game the same way. God bless you, Marquez.
This is HEB, and if you've been watching any videos on living in Dallas, Texas, this grocery store right here is a big deal. Nah, this ain't Walmart, this ain't Target, even though that's being built right across the street. This is what Texas disruption actually looks like in grocery form. The name literally stands for Here Everything is Better, and it's the God honest truth. Now look, I'm not gonna spoil your first visit because hearing about it and seeing it online, it just doesn't do it justice. It's the type of place where once you step foot inside, you find yourself making random runs on a Tuesday just because. So when you come into town on your exploration ship, go ahead and make a pit stop at your nearest HEB. All right, now downtown Forney, that's gonna add a little bit of personality to the mix as well, guys. It's not gonna be this giant entertainment district, but it still carries that classic small Texas town energy with all the antique shops. You're gonna get the local restaurants, the community events that pop up throughout the year as well. It's the kind of place that you might stop for lunch and then spend another 20 minutes just wandering around because one of the shops caught your attention. And that's really gonna be the overall feel of the daily life here. I mean, take the heart of Forney, for instance, right here, guys. You got Kroger, you got a bunch of shops and restaurant, Walmart across the street, Smoothie King is right here behind us, you got the car wash, you got daycares, you have orthopedics offices, dentists, everything you're gonna need is right here in the heart. Now, during high traffic times, early in the morning and in the evenings, this area gets very busy and vibrant, but again, it's a small town vibe, so around 7, 8 o'clock, things really start to chill out and be relaxed again. And that's really gonna be the overall feel of daily life here, guys. It's gonna be suburban, but it doesn't just feel too overly hectic. The routines are gonna be simple. The neighborhood is gonna be the focus, and it's gonna be a little bit more grounded than what you're used to. All right, now, as much as people really enjoy the lifestyle out here, there's one part of living in Forney that almost everybody ends up forming an opinion about pretty quickly, and that is going to be the commute. Because geographically, Forney sits on the east side of the Dallas metroplex, and the main corridor connecting this city to Dallas is Highway 80. And guys, if you work in Dallas, Mesquite, or somewhere along that corridor, the drive can actually be pretty manageable depending on the time of day. But if you've lived in the Dallas area for any moment of time, you probably already know that Highway 80 has a bit of a reputation. I mean, during the middle of the day, it's usually pretty straightforward. You hop on, you make your way towards Dallas, and things move along just fine. But during rush hour, Highway 80 can sometimes feel like everybody in East Dallas woke up that morning and said, you know what'd be fun? Let's all leave the house at the exact same time. And on those mornings, the traffic has a personality of its own. Some days it flows pretty smoothly. Other days it feels like the highway collective decided it needs a few extra minutes to gather its thoughts before moving again. Now, like I said earlier on in the video, they're almost finished with the expansion of this highway into 6 lanes on each side, which is really improving that traffic flow from what it was just a year ago. But there's still about another year to go for the full completion, and then I feel like the roads will be smooth as butter coming in and out of the suburbs. If you live anywhere in the Dallas metroplex, traffic is just a part of the deal. It's almost like an unofficial welcome package when you move here. But it is something that people living in Forney, they learn and plan around. A lot of the residents around here, they adjust their schedules a bit, right? They'll work hybrid or remote jobs, or even commute during times that avoid the heaviest traffic patterns. And when that's the case, the drive into Dallas or the surrounding areas tends to feel much more manageable. Another thing that helps is that Forney's location still puts you within a reasonable drive of several other parts of the metroplex, right? You got Mesquite nearby for additional shopping and dining, Rockwall and Lake Ray Hubbard if you want to get out near the water, and then Dallas is still close enough when you want to tap into everything the city has going on. So while the commute is definitely something to think about depending on where you're working, most people living here just treat it as a part of the rhythm of living on the east side of the metroplex. And then once people start to get used to the rhythm, the conversation usually shifts to something a lot of people are curious about when they first start researching this area. Like, Mark, what are the real pros and cons of living down here in Forney, Texas? All right, when people start seriously looking at Forney, guys, a few advantages tend to jump out pretty quickly. A lot of the city still feels newer and fresh compared to many other parts of the Dallas metroplex. A bunch of the neighborhoods here have been built within the last decade, so you're getting modern home designs, updated amenities, and communities that still feel like they're in the growth phase. It's kind of like moving into a place where everything still has that new house smell without having to assemble the furniture yourself. Another big plus is the breathing room out here. Some suburbs around Dallas can feel like someone tried to play suburban Tetris and squeeze every house possible into the same space. But Forney still feels a little more spread out, guys. The roads are wider, there's still open land around the parts of the city, and the neighborhoods don't feel quite as compressed. It just makes the environment feel a little less hectic. And a lot of people also tend to appreciate that Forney still feels approachable and local, even while it's growing at the moment, guys. Some of the faster growing suburbs eventually start to feel a little too polished and a little too copy and paste. Forney still has some personality that you get to see, guys. You're gonna see the local events, the small businesses, and the neighborhoods where people actually interact instead of just giving you a quick garage doorway before disappearing inside. And then there's gonna be that location balance, guys. You're part of the Dallas metroplex, so the jobs, the restaurants, and the entertainment are still within reach. But when you do come home, it doesn't feel like the city followed you back. It's almost like having Dallas on speed dial instead of living with it like a roommate. And for a lot of people, that combination ends up being the really sweet spot. But like anywhere else, guys, there are a few things about living in Forney that people should know before deciding if it's going to be the right fit for them. And that's where this conversation naturally shifts into some of the cons of living here as well. All right, so after spending some time around Forney, you start to notice the rhythm of life here pretty quickly. Listen, every suburb around Dallas has its own lane, and Forney's personality becomes pretty clear once you see how people actually live here day to day. Forney tends to do really well for people who like the newer suburban environment that still feels comfortable and grounded at the same time. A lot of the neighborhoods here were built fairly recently, so the homes, the streets, and the amenities, they all feel updated without the city feeling overly built out or crowded. It's going to be that kind of place where things still feel like they're growing in a good direction. Another part of the lifestyle here revolves around the neighborhood-centered type of living, right? Many of the communities are designed with parks, trails, playgrounds, the shared spaces, which naturally pulls people outside and into those areas, right? I mean, over time, those spots start becoming part of the everyday routine, whether that's the evening walks, whether that's the weekend sports, or just getting out of the house for a little bit. Forney also tends to appeal to people who like having a little more breathing room in their routine, right? I mean, some areas of the metroplex, they can feel very fast-paced and tightly packed. I mean, life here usually feels a little more relaxed. The neighborhoods are active, but they're not chaotic. In the day-to-day rhythm, it tends to revolve more around the home base than constantly bouncing around the city. And at the same time, living here, it still keeps you connected to the larger Dallas metroplex. We're talking the jobs, the restaurants, the entertainment, and everything else the region has to offer is still within your reach. But when you come home, the environment shifts back to a quieter suburban setting. And then there's going to be the overall personality of the city, right? Even with all the growth happening over here, Forney still carries a bit of that small town Texas character. You'll see it in the downtown area, the local events, and the way the community still feels personal rather than overly polished. Look, at the end of the day, every suburb fits differently into different type of lifestyles. But for the people who enjoy newer neighborhoods, a community-centered environment, and the suburban pace that still keeps them connected to the Dallas area, the rhythm of life in Forney tends to feel pretty natural. So look, when you step back and look at the full picture, Forney is one of those places that tends to surprise people just a little bit, right? On the surface, it might just look like another suburb on the map east of Dallas. But once you actually spend some time here, you start to realize the city has its own type of personality. Yes, it's growing quickly. New neighborhoods are popping up, more businesses are moving into the area, and the city is continuing to evolve as more people discover this side of the Dallas metroplex. But at the same time, it hasn't lost that approachable small town type of personality that a lot of residents are looking for. We still have the downtown with character, the parks where all the people actually show up and use them, and the neighborhoods where evenings, they don't feel like a race to get inside the house. It's the kind of place where life tends to revolve around your home base and your community instead of constantly feeling like you're chasing the next thing across the metroplex. And that type of balance, guys, is really what makes Forney interesting. You're close enough to one of the largest metro areas in the country to take advantage of everything it offers, but when you come home, it doesn't feel like the city follows you back and parked itself in your driveway. It's kind of like having the big city energy nearby without having it sitting on your couch eating all your snacks. And for a lot of people relocating to the Dallas area, that's the combination that ends up being that sweet spot. And look, if you're thinking about moving to the Dallas area and Forney has landed on your radar, guys, feel free to reach out. My team and I help people relocate to this area all the time, and we're always happy to answer questions, help you explore different neighborhoods, and guide you through the process if you're thinking about moving. So whether you're moving in a few months or just starting your research, guys, just shoot us a text. All of our contact info is down in the description below and pinned to the top of the chat. And I get it too. If you're just starting your research mode and you're not quite ready to reach out, guys, that's okay too, guys. We created whole playlists that you can binge watch, and you can check those out right there.